and really nice. Look at this line of action. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Look how they connected the arm with the leg to create this really beautiful line of action.
Hi everyone and welcome to Canimando.
Today I'll be doing an animation analysis of LUCA. Hope you like it and join our Discord server to get free feedback in your animations. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so first of all, let's analyze from the beginning. So, a nice pose. First thing that I wanted to point out is, notice how he's swimming upwards, but see how here, look at the torso, how it rotates down and then goes up. So there is a little anticipation down. See the head, the torso moves down, anticipates down a little bit, and boom. You see how it's all timed out. So the torso and the head moves down as he straightens the hands to push himself up. See how the hands do that flicker. So it's the last push. So he's actually swimming with the hands, and boom, last flicker on the wrists. So see how everything is involved. It's really subtle. See how there is no fast movements, but we can clearly see what he's doing. So really nice anticipation, really nice and fluid animation. And also nice how, see how when he swims upwards, so he pushes himself up, swims upwards, so the whole body, look, the straight line of action, really nice. And then as he reaches the top, see how the body kind of moves forward a bit. So he has more of a angle here, he's more of an angle, and as he gets to the top, the legs and the hips start moving forward a bit more, so he gets more of a straight line here because he stopped moving forward. So the drag on the feet and the drag on the tail and the drag on the rest of the body is not that accentuated when he stops. So as he moves, he's more on a horizontal line, and as he stops here, see how the feet start moving forward. The head and the torso is not moving forward that much, and the feet are getting are reaching out, the moving the character into more of a straight pose. Obviously they cut quite earlier, so we don't see the straight pose, but you see what I mean, right? See how it's really subtle, but it's really important, because if you kept the character in this angle until here, it would feel a bit robotic, but making that subtle move on the hips and feet, finishing the momentum, is really nice. So yeah, really nice here as well. See, I really like one thing here, because probably you haven't even noticed. Because it's really well done. So first of all, well, that's just change of expression, really well done. But what I wanted to point out is this. So, well, first of all, look at how the anticipation. So he's in a squash face pose, and then anticipates, opens the eyes as he turns away and squashes the face again. So there is a little anticipation before the squash pose of the face. So see how you'll see throughout the whole animation in many films that every time the character is going to change the facial expression, you will have an anticipation to the opposite side, whether it's on the eyebrows, in the mouth, the whole face. So many times you want to get that anticipation before the change of facial expression. But what I wanted to point out, the main thing, is this. Look, the character is quite straight here. So the head is on top and the body is down. See how on this cat, boom! What happened here? see how the character is completely changed the pose? But when you see it played, it feels really natural. It feels the inertia is really well animated. So you don't feel like we are missing any part of the animation. Why? Many things. Well, a couple of things. First of all, the inertia. See how the inertia that the character moves here, boom. See, this inertia matches the inertia of this movement. So as he begins this movement with the head, then in this shot he has that inertia and then stops. But the spacing of the face, the perceived inertia of the character is coherent in the next shot. So it's not like he's moving fast here and then on this shot he's just completely frozen here, or moving up or moving to the other direction. But he's moving down, so the inertia is moving in this direction, downwards to the right, and then in the next shot the inertia is going to the same direction and we feel the same inertia on the character. So even though the pose is completely different, we clearly see that we feel that this is the same movement because they match the inertia. They kept the movements coherent between themselves. But the other thing that is really important is the point of attention. Why? Because your point of attention right now is here on his eyes. Most of the time we're gonna be looking at the character's eyes. So here the point of attention is here, then fast movement. Our point of attention is kind of here, all this part, the face, and then look at this. The point of attention is exactly on the same point on the camera cut. So if the character was doing the same inertia, but they put the character in this, like here for example, probably we would feel that it doesn't quite feel right, because the point of attention would have had changed, and then it just shake us out of the animation. But if we keep the same point of attention on the same place, the audience don't feel like anything is missing. So keeping the same point of attention, keeping an eye on the point of attention, and keeping the same inertia and the direction of the inertia is really important to do this kind of, we could say, cheating in the animation, where we completely erase, we don't animate all this part where he just flips around and starts zooming downwards. We just animate. Look, there's a lot of animation missing between this and this pose. But yeah, you get the point. So make sure that when there is a camera cut, both shots match perfectly. Another thing that I really like is here, look how before he's going to do the next movement, we can see on his facial expressions his intention. So he's looking up, this is where he wants to go, and then looks down like, okay, I'm decided to go up, and then boom, tries again. And then it's funny how just as he's reaching, leads with the head, look at the eyes, just looks back and changed my mind. So it's really, really great. I really like how, notice the change of pose. So here, look at the hands close to the body, like I'm decided, I'm just gonna push through the water. But then as he, maybe not, how he straightens the arms, giving that changing the pose completely, because here we feel strength, like decisiveness, like he's ready to do it. And then as he says, oh no, I'm not ready, I'm afraid, he straightens the arms, and this pose for me is transmitting more of a relaxed, more of a, like he's giving up, you know, like just by straightening the arms here, you completely change the emotion of the character. Also the face of course helps a lot, but keep an eye on the arms. What can you do with the arms to change the pose and transmit even better what the character is going through? So really great acting choices here. I really like the overlap overall, so I'm not gonna analyze that because it's just like awesome everywhere. See everything here, just like how the tail, everything just really nice overlap. See here as well the hands, the feet mode that I talked about here. See how the hands are relaxed here, and as he stops, look the inertia of the arms. So he stops and the arms have a little more inertia and then they settle, because they are transmitting that he's completely relaxed. He's like giving up. He's not tense anymore. He's just like, oh, like I can do it. So his arms relaxed. See, watch it again. See the arms, just that little overlap on the arms just transmits a lot. So all those little details, because we could just move the character here, they could just have moved the character here and stopped it, but just by adding that small overlap on the arms where they just swing around like completely relaxed, it transmits a lot more, a lot better the emotions of the character. Then here again, the arms go from relaxed to, okay, I decide to go again, like, oh, I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not. Look at the arms shaking, the legs as well, they are kind of straightened and then they bend, the whole body tenses up. So he's like trying to decide. The tail as well, look, the tail is more relaxed, and then as he's trying to decide, the tail tenses a bit, raises a bit. So see how they involve all the body on the thought process of the character. And then look, the anticipation, so the whole body squashes, beautiful squash pose. So look at how the legs raise, the torso rotates down, so goes from a more stretch to a squash pose and boom, stretch pose. So you have that really nice contrast between straight, squash, straight. So really nice there. Also, I really like this. Really nice.
Wow.
So, couple of things here. Notice how it's not just going up to the extreme, like squashing more and more the face. They added texture to the facials. See how this kind of this kind of couple of flickers on the face, like squash, oh, a little more, and every time the face squashes and tenses up, the body raises a bit more. So it's so he raises here, so raise here, then the body kind of stops, see the top of the face, and then the facial squashes a bit and then raises a bit more, and then stops and then squashes and raises a bit more. So it's like, it's not just the face isolated, but the face squashing and tensing up and the eyebrows going down, and he pushing with the teeth and just like making that strong facial expression is also tied down with the body, with the movement of the body. So it's not just a new facial expression texture on the facials, but we see how the facials are connected to the movements of the body. So the body stops, facials and body move, facials and body move. So it's really subtle, but the two pushes, these two small pushes up in the body connected with the facials. Really nice. And as you can see, it's not the body just moving up, but see how when the eyebrows tense up and the mouth and everything, see, look at the shoulders, look at the arms, see how the arms push against the body, like the whole body tenses up to try to, like he wants to push through, but he don't want to, but he wants to, but he doesn't want to. So he's just on that battle inside his mind, like he's afraid but he wants to do it. So see again here as he pushes with the face, see the shoulders, the arms pushing against the body. So it's like the whole body is involved in his emotions. So every time the character feels he's trying to do something, the whole body is involved. and see how it's not all happening at the same time. See how, for example, this is the pose, and okay, the shoulders quite lead this movement, and then then the face, the shoulders, and then the body moves up. So there's the face leading and the shoulders leading the movement, and then the body raises. So it's not like the body raises up at the same time as the facial squashes and the shoulders move up. It's all overlapped. Even if it's just one frame overlap, it's more than enough sometimes to just sell that good overlap between the parts of the body. But it's important that you have somewhat overlap. Really like here how he changes to like a defeated pose, defeated facial expression, and then see how small texture here, he raising the eyebrows here. Wow. Also match with he saying wow, but like we can feel like the defeated, like, oh, whatever, I can do it. So we can feel, we can see, we can understand his thought process just by the eyebrows raising up. And but as always, it's not just the facials, because see here, wow. So he's just like, okay, I'm defeated, I can do it. But it's not just the eyebrows. Look at the shoulders, how they raise, like the eyebrows raise, like, okay, I can do it, and the shoulders raise as well. So it's like, okay, I can do it, like I'm defeated. See how the shoulders create also that visual arc forward. So the shoulders are back and then forward and down in a more curved. They curved the torso, so he gets into more defeated pose. When the torso is rotated down, the shoulders forward, so it's more a defeated pose. It's like, okay, I'm giving up. So see how the whole body is again involved in the motions of the character. It's not just the face, it's the whole body involved. So let's watch it one time more. Really like here, notice how again LUCA, he scares him, but notice the anticipation. So anticipation is squash, so the face squashes a bit just before stretching for when he's scared. So notice how many times, mostly always, you will want to have a small anticipation on the face, on to the opposite side, just before changing a facial expression. Oh, so squash and stretch, so it adds contrast to the animation.
That was hard to watch. You coming? We do not go anywhere near the surface.
Really like this as well. Notice how really well animated the inertia of the legs and the tail. So the body, the torso stops, but the torso slows down. Boom, nice anticipation again. Look, he's looking, then oh, he realizes, so squash on the face, really nice squash on the face. The mouth goes, the mouth squashes up, the eyebrows squashes down, and then boom, stretch on the face. Mouth opening, eyebrows lifting, eyes opening. So you have again anticipation on the face before the stretch. Really nice. And see how the whole body flips forward as he's just trying to stop the movement. Oh, but you feel the inertia. It's not like the body completely stopping there and just like stopping here. You feel the inertia because he's got some speed. So really nice. So always try to, when you make your animations, try to create a realistic settle on all the parts of the body. Analyze every part of the body so it doesn't feel like it hasn't settled its inertia properly. So really nice. Ooh, and really nice overlap as well. Look, one feet before the other and the tail, so everything is overlapped. Really nice.
Everything good is above the surface. Walking.
Really nice. I love this one. So ooh, he's trying to move as if he was underwater. So he's just like trying to swim. Oh, really nice. I really like how they pushed here the balance of the character, because obviously here he would have fell down much earlier, but because this is animation, many times you will have the opportunity to break the rules of animation. So in this case, see how they hold the unbalanced pose for a bit longer, like to sell that he's trying to swim. And really nice, because it's not just him doing this and then falling down, but notice how really nice, like deep down, as I told earlier, right? He's going to go up, so he dips down as if he was underwater. He dips down to go up. Really nice. So he kept the same kind of motion as if he was underwater. And then the hips, so the head and torso goes down, then the hips goes down, and then everything tries to go up, trying to swim. Ooh. And then look at the facial expression. So at the beginning it's just normal, trying to swim up, and then as he realizes that he's not moving at all, then notice a small anticipation. Look how the lids close a bit, and then oh, changes facial. Oh, come on, and see how it changes for 1, 2, 3 frames. In 3 frames the facial expression changes, and oh, he realizes that he's gonna fall, and then oh, and then 1 frame. This is really great as well, how exaggerated the fall is. So he starts to fall, so as he stopped moving up, so look, he stops moving up, and then he changes facial expression just before it starts moving down, because he realizes that he's gonna fall down, and then he starts to moving down with a really small spacing. Ooh, look at the shake on the head, everything keeps moving, and then 1 frame, the hair almost stays on the same place. Look at how the head is stretched. Look at the hips, almost don't move that much, but they move down a bit. The hair stays on the same place, they stretch the face. Then the next frame, there's a blur, there's a motion blur, so the whole body moves down, the feet start to slide. So you have 1 frame, 2nd frame, and 3rd frame, and the 3rd frame is already smashing against the floor. So really exaggerated, boom, because every time you want to sell that the character is hitting something, is falling down, is punching something, anything that involves an impact, the more you exaggerate the last frame, the spacing of the last frame, because here, look at the spacing. This is huge spacing, boom, boom, boom. But every time you want to sell a strong impact, the more you exaggerate the final frame, the more powerful the impact is going to be. Of course, you have to create a good lead up to that impact. You cannot make just the character here and then boom, over 1 frame, just smashing against the ground. Although there are shows like Family Guy and 2D animation shows that do this kind of animation, that the character is just like normal, straight, and over 1 frame, boom, he's already hitting the ground. But that is really, really, really exaggerated. So for Pixar films, it wouldn't feel right unless they create a film with that kind of feeling to the animation. But for this film, it's more a realistic type of animation, although of course it's exaggerated as in any animation film. But yeah, so really nice, exaggerated, boom, squash on the face, really nice. Look at the overlap on the feet as well, boom, then 1 feet hitting again after the other, so really nice. And notice how it hits the overlap, then the other one, then as this feet hits, boom, then raises a bit again, and then this. So it's a double settle, so it's boom. So he hits the hips first, then the knee, then the feet, then the feet bounces, then overlaps again, the foot overlaps, and then lands again. So it's a small, there's a big overlap, boom, and then a small bounce on the feet. So everything has that double settle to sell that the character is settling down. Because many times if you just do 1 settle, imagine that it's just boom and the feet stays there, it doesn't move anymore, it's gonna feel a bit rigid. But if you add just that small bounce on the feet or the arms or wherever you are trying to settle after a fall, that small bounce and overlap on the wherever is hitting down the floor or whatever is gonna feel more organic, more realistic, more credible.
The sky, clouds, the sun. Don't look at it. Just kidding. Definitely look at it.
Great here.
The
Sun. I really like how the sun, he's talking nice, he's looking at him, and see how when he goes to move his hands over his eyes, notice how this hand has a very small slow out, a very small slow out before a big spacing. So every time you want to animate a big spacing, make sure that you create that slow out. Even if you want to exaggerate it a lot, you want to make a really snappy movement, at least have one frame where that part of the body starts moving, even if it's a small spacing, because otherwise it's going to feel a bit robotic. But if you have that small slow out, even 1 frame, 2 frames, it's going to add a lot to your animation. It's going to be more believable. So great. Look how the arm reaches, goes there, he closes the eyes, he raises the shoulders, so he raises the shoulders first and then the arms move up. Look nice, the arc that the hand creates up and to the left, and then the shoulders move down, so it's up and down, the shoulders involved, the whole body involved. So really nice reaction, the whole body involved.
Don't look at it.
And also look the small shaking on the head. Ooh, see how there's a squash on the head, squash, and then stretch and back. So there is a small shaking on the head just by squashing and stretching again and rotating a bit the head. So notice how squash, then the head starts to rotate to the right a bit and then stretches and settles. So that's important as well. So every time you can, even small rotations, small movements is gonna add a lot to your animations. Every small rotation on all the axes that you can involve, is gonna be better. If you just animate the head or whatever part of the body, but mostly the head in just one angle, like for the Z or the Y angle axis, if you don't involve the X axis or wherever axis it is, it's gonna feel a bit isolated. But if you involve all the axes, so it rotates a bit to the right and then to the tilts as well to the side a little bit, it's gonna be a bit more organic. And also look at the mouth, how closes, then opens, then closes a bit more. So it's not just fixed on a mouth shape, but see how, see, the mouth also reacts to, even he's not talking, he's the one talking, but here see how his mouth also reacts to this movement.
Don't look at it. Just kidding. Definitely look. Definitely look at it. Just kidding.
And also really nice how when he just opens the eyes, okay, looks at him, really nice facial. The face is open to him, so see how this eyebrow is raised a bit more. Really nice line of action. So the face is creating that triangle looking at him. So the face is open to this character. See the eyebrows. This eye is a bit more squashed. This one is a bit more stretched. Really subtle details, but enough to create great facials. So see how it leads the action like this. It's a bit more exaggerated, and then the eyebrows finish to lift up, and then it's still a bit open to this side, but it's not that exaggerated, because the facial in this case is more a neutral face. in this case, he's like, what is he doing? In this one, you can feel another emotion, so the face is a bit more exaggerated, and this one is just listening to him like, okay, I'm listening. So see how many times you can add that that overlap on the transitions. So instead of just the both eyebrows raising at the same time, one eyebrow leading the action, creating that kind of pose, is creating also variation. It creates contrast on the face. Even though it's just the transition, you can see how you can overlap the different sides of the face to make it a bit more organic, a bit more fluid.
Get it? Just get it.
But of course, don't exaggerate don't overlap the parts of the face just because you are overlapping. You have to have a reason to overlap them. So in this case, you are transmitting this emotion first, and also you are opening the face to this side. So it wouldn't make sense if he raised this eyebrow first and just keep this eye closed, because then why is he opening the face to this side? So it has to have a reason for the overlap on the facials. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Just kidding. Definitely look at it.
Have you ever gone to the human town?
Yeah. I'm kind of an expert there. Someone got lucky today. Go start the club for losers.
My name is Julia Macavalli. We underdogs have to look out for each other.
What's under the dogs?
I really like this as well.
Each other.
They are both looking at her like, okay, like what? And then when he's just gonna, what's under the dog? See how the facial changes first. What? So he gets,
What?
so before speaking, he's what? So he gets into the what? Into the strange, like, what are you talking about pose? So this is just before he starts speaking. So see how he gets to the facial expression before he starts speaking, and the what's under the, and then see the head movement, how it creates that really nice arc with the nose. See, if you track the nose, it's creating that deep down and up again. So it's creating that really nice arc, and then a little shake at the end on the head. See, if you track the nose, like what's under the nose, like I under the dog, like I don't understand what you're saying. And also notice how if you track the eyebrows, notice how the nose is creating that arc, but if you track the movement of the eyebrows, notice how the eyebrows go down and then this eyebrow raises a bit more. So the eyebrows also are creating that kind of pattern, like down and to the right and up. So to create that feeling, they also did that by raising this eyebrow a bit more at the end. So both the nose is creating that feeling, that deep down and up, then the eyebrows deep down and up. So that feeling of up, like down and up, is created in both the eyebrows and the nose. So really nice, really nice. So
What's under the dogs? What's under the...
but again, it because has a purpose, because this pose is selling like I don't understand what you're saying, but raising this eyebrow exaggerates that pose. This is a greater pose because it's like what? Like it sells better, like he don't understand what she's saying. So instead of just having the eyebrows straightened and leveled, by raising this eyebrow also sells better, even better, the facial expression. So see how it's all connected. It's not just raising the eyebrows to create that arc, but it's all involved. They change the expression and they use that change of expression to also connect it with the movement of the head. So it's all creating that pattern. So it's really complex. It's really all connected, all thought out. So it all matches the movement of the body, the facial, what he's saying, everything. See also how the neck and the torso moves, is all the body involved. So yeah, that's why it's really important that you record references, because many times it's really hard to keep all that in mind and just create an animation by itself. You need some reference to have an idea of what your character, your face is doing, so you can exaggerate. You can also, from the reference, you can create new things, but you need to have that reference, so you have that base, that credibility line to build up on top with your animation.
What's under the dogs?
This is my dad.
What do you think he kills with those?
Anything that swims.
Your life is so much cooler than mine. There's a million things you think you can't do.
Really nice, really like this shot. Notice how the difference in emotions here. So here he's running forward, like unbalanced forward, like he wants to get to the point, and he's more careful, he's leaning backwards, so his emotion is more like, oh, I want to be careful, I don't want to fall down. So in this shot we can see, apart from the face, because both of them are happy, both of them look happy, but just by looking at the body posture, we can feel that both characters are not feeling the same emotions, because he's more decided, he wants to get ready, he wants to reach the jump, and he's more like, oh, I just want to be careful with the feet forward, like I just yeah, more careful run. And then when they get to the point, let's analyze this first. So jump, really nice squash pose, look at this line of action, really great. So boom, 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 and then squash and jump, really nice. Look at this line of action. So for a couple of frames, we get that really nice straight line of action. Look at the silhouette, we can see both feet, yeah, the arms, so they exaggerate the pose, so it's not like the one hand is hiding, and then here it's really exaggerated. I love it. Although the arms, you could argue that the arms would be broken here, but for this animation it's completely fine. That's why when you say breaking the laws of animation, it all depends, because sometimes you're gonna break the laws of animation, or the character break it, and it's gonna be fine. It just depends on the animation. So in this case it's really great, really nice silhouette. So you have that complex side. If you reach that point in my course, you probably know it, but you have that complex side and a bit more simple side here. So really complex, all the arms and leg, and then this nice shape. So really nice silhouette here, of course, and then woo, falling down, and everything overlapped, really nice. And then really I love also the hang time on the jump, oh, boom, and then falling down, boom, and fall. Really important, the hang time on the jumps as well. So here, okay, let's analyze this one. See how he's running. Also, he's running a bit more leaning back, and then the next shot is leaning a bit more forward, but it feels right. It doesn't feel odd at all. But what I wanted to point out is, look at when he stops, like, oh, okay, I don't want to do it. Also, stays coherent with this character, because as you saw at the beginning of the trailer, he wanted to go outside the water, and he was afraid of doing it. And now he wants to jump, but he's also afraid to doing it. So always on the last moment he decides not to do it. So really great. That's why it's really important to know who is your character, because if you know who is your character, you're gonna make him do things that are in line with his personality, because it just makes sense. This is more fearless, and this is more afraid of things, so it just makes sense. Although you could easily make him jump, but just by making him hesitate here, it just gives that extra layer of personality. It shows that the character is real because it's consistent with his personality. and really nice. Look at this line of action. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Look how they connected the arm with the leg to create this really beautiful line of action. So every time you can, if you can connect the arms, the legs, everything that you can to create that line of action that flows throughout the whole body, the more involved all the parts of the body you can make to create that line of action, the better the pose is going to be for the most part. And so boom, and then he transitions to the next pose. See how it's not just crazy things, but he goes from this pose, look at this arm, and then this pose. So some parts of the body is not changing, everything of the character is just changing pose, but some of the parts is just shifting a bit, rotating a bit. So in this pose it's more like and then just rotates a bit and gets to this pose. So just that, keep in mind that sometimes you don't have to, when you change poses, you don't have to change the whole pose. Sometimes you just need to change some parts of the pose to sell another feeling, or just to change the pose. So great, we get to the pose, and these three beautiful silhouettes. So all the parts of the body, we can see all the parts of the body. So yeah, great stuff.
You need is a chance to try.
Something's fishy with you two.
It's too dangerous.
I know your problem. You got a Bruno in your head.
A Bruno.
Say, silencio.
I really like this, how
Bruno in your head.
he's like, I don't want to do it. So he's just like arms crossed, like I don't want to do it. And then as he says, you have a Bruno in your head, like, oh, I have a Bruno in my head. Like he's trying to comprehend what the other guy is telling him. So he raises the eyebrows. Oh, a Bruno in my head. A Bruno in my head? Like I want to know what you mean. So he relaxes the pose. Notice how the eyebrows, he's interested in what he's saying. So he's not only interested with the face, like raising the eyebrows, like, okay, tell me more. He also relaxed the shoulders. He relaxed the arms. So the whole body is changing the emotion. So that's why, if you record references, all that things are gonna be, just if you train recording references, you're gonna be, those things are gonna come natural. But that's why it's important to record references, because otherwise sometimes you are not gonna think about doing those things. A Bruno in my head. Notice the arcs on the nose. A Bruno in my head. Not really nice. Up. So the head goes up, the arms go down. Movement in opposite directions, really nice. And then down, Bruno. Bruno in my head, and then up again. So it's really nice. A Bruno in my head. A Bruno. So notice the accent as well. A. So the accent on A, the head moves and the torso moves up. A Bruno. On the Bruno, the body moves down in my head. So it's just rhythm. The rhythm of what he's saying matches his movement. So it's a Bruno in my head. Up and down and up.
You got a Bruno in your head.
A Bruno in my head. See how it matches perfectly the audio. A Bruno in my head.
In your head.
A Bruno. Even though it's not really sharp movements, but they are there. The small speeds up, the small accelerations on the body match the audio.
Say, silencio, Bruno.
Really like. So see how he leads with the hips, the head rotates, overlaps down, so the deep down on the nose, creating that beautiful arc. A Bruno in my what he's saying? Bruno, silencio Bruno. So he changes pose, silencio, and then he gets to this pose and silencio Bruno, and then the next accent is just with this hand. So he completely changes pose, and then the next accent is just with the arm. So you have that variation. It's not every accent changing pose, but one accent changes the whole pose, and the other accent just moves back, and the other accent just the arm although as you can see, the whole body moves when the accentuate happens with the accent happens with the hand, but it's not like it's changing pose, it's just reacting to the movement. So it's a difference between the body reacting to the movement and between changing the pose of the body. So really nice. And also the overlap here on the hand. Silencio Bruno, down and up. Really nice. Bruno. Notice how throughout this whole animation, the arcs on the nose are perfect. Silencio Bruno, Bruno, on both characters. Silencio Bruno, Silencio. Notice really nice how it like raises shoulders and down and up. So also anticipation with the shoulders and the shoulders, arms, and then down and up. So see how the anticipation in this character is not necessarily in this case moving down or moving back or whatever, or moving up. The anticipation in this case is raising the shoulders and the arms and then boom, deep down and up. Although you could say that this is anticipation moving down, because of course it's an anticipation, but you have the anticipation of the anticipation. So he anticipates with the shoulder and the arms to then anticipate down with the whole body and then the movement up. So you have that little anticipation with the shoulders where like the thought process. So here we can feel the thought process and then anticipation of the movement. So this is the anticipation of the anticipation. We also, another thing that you'll learn if you join my course. Really like this shot, is beautifully done. Notice the main thing that I like about this shot is the timing. So see how it's not just a lot of movements and that's it. It's like boom. So okay, good. Boom, takes the quote-unquote helmet and then beautiful arc. Boom. So notice how this feet slides. So really like a dance almost, like boom, boom. So weight shift, beautifully done. So he shifts the weight to this leg, then up, and then he transfers the weight to this leg. So boom, puts the helmet down. Notice the reaction on him, squashing him down a lot. Look at a lot. He's squashing him down a lot. Look at the legs, how they bend. Boom. And then there's a small hold here. Woo. Just a couple of frames so the audience knows what's gonna happen. We get to see his eyes like, okay, what's that? Like, nice helmet. And then leading with the feet here, with the foot. Woo. So the audience knows what's gonna happen here as he anticipates to the right, looks at the left, anticipates with the foot. So there's many things going on. The anticipation to the right, so the audience knows that he's gonna go to the left. The anticipation with the leading with the foot, so the audience knows here that he's gonna go to the left, and also the eyes pointing to the left. So everything is telling us that he's going to go to this left, and then pulling him. So boom, really also really nice line of action, really nice arcs. So dipping down and then up, jumping, and see how as he's just woo, getting there and boom. So it's just really nicely done. So you have that hold, fast movement, then hold, and then fast movement again. So you have that variation in the timing. See how you have that variation in fast stop, fast stop, fast stop. The main hold is here, and then you have a small hold here as the hang time of the jump, although this character is moving as well, but the main focus is on this character. So you have that small hold and then boom, let's go.
You do it now. Just say the thing.
What's wrong with you, stupido?
Okay, great. So hope you liked it. Hope you learned a lot. Give your suggestions in the comments. I love to hear what you want me to analyze next. Also subscribe, and if you haven't yet, join the Discord server to get free feedback in your animations. And of course, if you want to learn animation more in depth, you can join my course, my animation course, so you can learn from the beginning, from the very beginning, until creating really nice animations. So hope to see you soon, and until the next time, subscribe.